What's going on, gang? So yesterday, I kind of put out a theory that when you go to the tackle store or you buy your first tackle online, you should pick one bait in one color. And my theory is basically to not confuse yourself. I wish if I went back to started bass fishing again, from the very beginning, I would have just picked one bait and one color. And I'd still do that now when I learn new techniques. It's one bait and one color. And really, the reason for that is if we were to learn basketball, for instance, this is an analogy that I thought of. We would just probably do layups. If it was your first day practicing basketball, you wouldn't be throwing up three pointers and half court shots and mid range, and you would just do layups because if you got in a game situation in crunch time and you were dribbling down the court and you had a free pass, you would want to be positive you were going to make that layup. That's how bass fishing is. If you know you need to just go out and catch one bass, you're going to want to use the thing you have the most confidence in. If you go out and have a really tough day, you're going to resort back to that anyways. So why not save yourself a bunch of money and a bunch of time and just throw one bait? You'll find that it's going to shine in a certain depth range around certain types of cover, and you're going to learn how to catch fish on it. You're going to learn how that fish fights when he's on that bait. Do you play him out? Do you rush them in? There's a lot of different things you can learn all on just one lure. I picked a crankbait because that's something that shines in the spring, the summer, and the fall. It can be windy, rainy, cloudy, calm. They're still going to eat that lure. And that's a really, important thing because if you can learn that, there's guys and women out there that try to learn 15 techniques at once. You can leapfrog those guys and women if you go to a lake and the crankbait bite is working and you just throw a crankbait. They might try those 9 or 10 other things. You might be just as good as them in just a few times fishing with a crankbait. That might take them years because they're trying to learn so much stuff. It's really, a paralysis by analysis type situation. I think that so many times we get caught up in people trying to sell us something that we miss the point of just going out catching fish. If I was to tell you golfers, professional golfers, just hit one club. There's guys that are on the PGA Tour that just go and hit one club everywhere they go in the country. That's not a true thing. But if I told you that, the next time you went to the golf course, you would just bring one club. That's how pro fishermen roll. Some operate that way, where they will take one technique and bring it all over the country and be at a professional level and succeed doing that. So why not just learn one technique? You can get a bass rod. It'll probably work for that crankbait. You can, try a bunch of different line sizes. And once you learn that bait, then you can start expanding. Well, when I go up to, 17-pound line, it runs only 2 feet, but when I have it on 12, I can get it down to 5 feet. Or, when I put on bigger hooks, I can reel it around rocks more and around grass and it doesn't snag up. Or I can go down to a slower gear ratio reel and get more bites when the water's really cold. So those things are super important, and you can learn all that with just one bait. The color thing for me is not as important as it's made out. You'll learn that color isn't always the biggest indicator in how many fish you're going to catch. It can be important, but most of the time it's not. So when you're just learning, color isn't something that I would really try to learn too much about. It's more about your feel, understanding how to throw it around different types of conditions like wind and rain, and then understanding how to implement it to where the bass should be during the times of the year. You can do all those things with one bait. Try that, guys. Let me know. Shoot me a comment. I'll let you know some of my favorite crankbaits in the comment section, and give that a try. It'll save you a lot of money, and hopefully you'll learn a technique sooner than later and catch a bunch of fish. Thanks, guys.